I'm Greg Walcher. I'm a fifth-generation native of Colorado, and I grew up around a grandpa who was a ditch rider on one of the old canals, who taught us early on the value of water in the West by talking about how much better it was to be at the top of the ditch with a shovel than at the bottom of the ditch with a water right. And you know, even today in the East, so many people think that Western water law is just flat bizarre. The concept that people would have to own water as a property right is a foreign concept in much of the United States. But here in Colorado, people need to understand it better than they do. And one of the ways to put it into context is to just understand where all the water in the world is, and frankly, how little of it is here. Think about the fact that more than 90% of all the water on planet Earth is not available to humans because it's too salty to drink. Another 4% or so at any given moment is locked up in clouds. Another 3% is frozen at the polar ice caps and in glaciers. It leaves barely 2% of all the water on Earth for all of the use of all humans and plants and animals. And of the water that's available for human use, virtually all of it is in the major river systems of the world: the Amazon, the Mississippi, the Yangtze, the Volga, the Rhine, etc. And so statistically, the amount of water available here in western Colorado isn't even measurable as a percentage of what's on Earth. But for Colorado, the situation is actually even worse than that. Colorado, we have 8 river basins, all of which flow out of Colorado. It's often called the rooftop state because all the water that falls in Colorado flows out. None of it flows in. And for people here in western Colorado, we face a constant reality that 80% of the water in this state is on the west side of the Continental Divide and 80% of the people on the east side. So there's never going to be a time in Colorado when there aren't disputes about water, and for western slopers, the reality that we have it and they want it. And then in addition to that, we have the complication of interstate compacts because on the Colorado River system, for example, there are 30 million people in 7 states who depend on water that originates in Colorado. And so we are obligated under interstate compacts to deliver much of Colorado's water to other downstream states in the Colorado River Basin and all of the others all around the state. So that creates one reality that's inescapable in Colorado, and that is during the wet periods when all the water falls on Colorado, and that is to say virtually all of the water in Colorado, which comes during about a 4-month period of every year. So that means you store the water during the wet periods so that you can use it during the dry periods, or you can't live in Colorado. That's the basis of sustaining life in this state. And so you've got to have more water storage everywhere if you're going to have more people anywhere.